Rabbi, want to say a quick comment on Bnei Sharet Zion for 1 minute?
What's the nature of the comment?
The comment is we're doing an anniversary video. Bnei Sharet Zion. All the years that they're
Am I commenting on the history,
on the history
and
and
the
what it is today.
development? That's it. In 60 seconds.
Yes.
How about 65
60
seconds?
seconds. 60 seconds. Fine, you'll be there later, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I want to show the rabbis here for the longest standing.
You have a
the
question you
longest-
want to answer, Rabbi, let him respond, maybe it's better.
No,
that
no,
way.
it's fine, it's fine.
Rabbi knows that. We saw the minute ago.
Open a second in Parashat
The rabbi is the
Bereshit.
longest standing rabbi in the shul.
Oh, I thought you saw waiting in the office, waiting in. That's kind of learning. He tells my son, what's your name? That's my name on my book. Oh, sing me something. I understand something. He said, nice to you. Yeah, he says, your name's Charles Lee. I'm praying for you as a father.
Whoa,
Your friend Steve.
wow. Whoa.
Yeah, maybe up in the mountain.
I think so. Whoa.
Oh, that's what it's right. See, better go Baruch Hashem.
Yeah, I'm sure you do that. Let's test it if you're recording.
Should get out of the deal, man.
Hey, Larry, just a second. I have to speak for 60
Larry,
seconds.
Larry, just wait a minute.
Oh, Larry.
Support. 249 very good.
Rabbi was my teacher in 9th grade.
Oh.
Rabbi, remember 1994.
If you had a few students since then.
Just how long the rabbi's here and what is it to be part of Bnei Sharet Zion over the years, and how the rabbi sort of evolve and grow to what it is today.
Okay, whenever.
Okay, all right.
Okay. David HaMelech says, Shir HaMa'alot, Shuv Hashem et Shivat Zion Hayinu Kecholin. Sometimes in life you have dreams, aspirations, but very often in reality the dream was much better. 40 years ago when we started in Sharet Zion, we started in Ascas, in King's Highway, a small class, no one dreamt is going to develop such a Makom Torah. I was approached by Rabbi Harari Alav Shalom to come to teach, and I remember the small group. How do we know that the beginning was a healthy Shem Shamayim beginning? Because the pasuk says, "Tzadik katamar yifrach ke'erez ba'avanon yizgeh." If you see how a palm tree is growing and becoming strong, you know that the seeds were done Hashem Shamayim. So this is mamash. Shuv Hashem et Shivat Zion Hayinu Kecholin. What we see now is like a development of a dream that no one ever dreamt. This is possible, and the reason is because everyone involved, the students and the leaders and the rabbis, meant L'Shem Shamayim, and Be'ezrat Hashem, we see Gedayim and Asut Tiashim. We see how the young ones are becoming fathers and the children are coming in. As the Navi says, V'aya Reshitcha Mitz'ar, Ve'achritcha Tizgeh Me'od. The beginning is going to be Miz'ar, small, Ve'achritcha. As you come along, Tizgeh Me'od. Hashem should bless all of us to continue and develop and become bigger and more successful. Ad Be'at Agoel B'mera B'Yameinu. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
It's enough of the whole class today, actually. we got the whole.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You remember asking.
Oscars, yeah. There's a candy
What is that?
store.
What is
There's a
that?
candy
King's
store.
Highway.
There's a candy store. You know what a McVeigh is? The Spartak McVeigh on King's
We
Highway?
used to have in the
It was a
basement.
candy store.
We have in the basement.
That's what you were like.
No, I wasn't. I
Yeah,
came
is
10
that
years
what
after.
I remember the annex days.
I came in.
No, we started.
Okay, yeah.
We started After Ascalon, we went to the Aretz, and then
So what year did the rabbi start here?
40 years. At the
Oh,
closer
yeah,
beginning.
yeah.
So in the
That's
80s?
Rabbi Erai, right away. Rabbi Erai came
I
out
thought the 90s, right?
No,
30s,
no, no.
80s, okay.
84.
Wow.
The rabbi started when he was 18 years old.
Rabbi Toller used to be here also.
Correct.
Yeah.
We came more. or
Where
less
is he
the same
today
time.
right now?
He's retired now. Baruch Hashem
But
is.
he's still in
He was
Brooklyn?
teaching
Yeah,
Bedford
yeah,
Avenue for a long
yeah,
time.
yeah,
Bedford
yeah,
Avenue.
So we are going. Good morning, Larry. We're going to
Okay, Tov.
follow now what happens when the brothers are convinced that Yosef has to be punished. We're going to focus mainly on the Ramban. On the Ramban. So let's see what happens here. The Chokhmah is to read between the lines. Yes? Let's start on page 198, Perek Lamed Zayin, Pasuk Gimel. Israel, okay, let's start before, you need to really understand the... אלה תולדות יעקב יוסף בן 17 שנה, היה רואה את אחיו בצאן. Yosef is befriending, is a shepherd with his brothers. Which brothers? והוא נער, את בני בלהה, את בני זלפה, נשי אביו. Why then? Says Rashi, look at Rashi on the left side, את בני בלהה, כלומר רגיל אצל בני בלהה, לפי שהיו אחיו מבזים אותם, יהודס, והוא מקרבם. The Torah is revealing us in the beginning of this unfortunate event, which you realize if you look at the big picture, had to happen. Because Hashem says to Abraham Avinu that the Jewish people are going to go to exile. How it happened, this is the free choice of people. This is why the brothers are being blamed. But let's see how it starts. Yosef appears in the beginning of the parasha as a man that is sensitive for the children of Bilhah and Zilpah. Why? Because the children of Leah, which is, so to say, an upper class wife, mevazim אותה. Mevazim means they didn't respect them enough. So Yosef being the son of Rachel, which is really on top of the top, is going to befriend them. Yes, already.
Could it also be that there was an age difference between them?
But age is not normally a reason for jealousy and rivalry. Here it says clear, כפי שהיו אחיו מבזים אותם. For instance, Dan and Naphtali, Gad v'Asher, the children of Bilhah and Zilpah, were older than Issachar and Zvulun. Anyway, ויבא יוסף את דיבתם רעה אל אביהם. Which brothers is he bringing דיבה אליי? Before we look in Rashi, if you read the flow of the psukim, is those who he befriended. You see, Rashi doesn't say so.
No.
But other Rishonim, the Ramban, other Rishonim are saying those who he befriended. He felt I have to tell Abba Yaakov, but Rashi doesn't say so.
I thought it was the sons of Leah.
Correct.
Shimon
You're saying is correct. This is Rashi. Look at the Rashi. ודיבתם רעה, כל רעה שהיה רואה באחיו בני לאה. Rashi is openly saying.
Yeah.
Now, if you take the Rashi before and say that Yosef is defending Dan ben Naphtali, Gad v'Asher, the children, you understand he's, don't put them down. I'll tell Daddy what you are. Leila, this is the way you learn according to Rashi the Psukim, yes? What did he tell them? שהיו אוכלים עבר מן החי, Okay, you know, there are dozens of interpretations, but normally it means like this. This has to do with the question you raised last week. Ever min achai is asur to everyone, if you're a Jew or a Gentile. However, after an animal was slaughtered, before she is completely dead, can you rip a limb now? She's basically dying. Yes. If you are a Jew, the answer is yes. If you're a non-Jew, asur. So Yosef watched his brothers, right, ripping the limbs after. Yosef is telling them, but you're not fully Jewish yet. What are you doing?
Mhm.
Yes? So the argument is, are we, the Shvatim, considered fully Jewish and therefore this is permitted to us or not? This is one of the most famous interpretations. Fine.
So it has to go both ways, though. If you're telling me we're gonna go by the Jewish way, then we should be doing shechita anyway.
They did shechita.
Oh, so
No,
they
no,
did
they-
shechita.
listen,
Oh, I see what you got. No, I
listen
misunderstood.
again,
You
you
did.
slaughter-
Yeah, I got it.
slaughter the animal,
Then you could do the
then you
shechita.
rip it
Then you
before
rip
the
it.
animal.
Yeah,
Is the
yeah,
animal still
sorry.
considered dead or not?
Right. There wasn't another explanation that in the womb you can do it, Evan. There's another.
If it's ben pekua means if after you slaughter you find a live animal inside, you can do whatever you want.
Right, okay.
So ever min achai umezalzelim b'bnei hashfachot. See, Rashi is consistent. I am a shepherd every day with Dan and Naphtali, Gad v'Asher, the children of Bilhah and Zilpah, and they are not respecting me. Likrotam avadim. Remember, this is Yosef's perception. V'chashudim al harayot.
Yeah.
Now, what does it mean? Chashudim al harayot. If you look in the Midrash says when beautiful Italian girls are passing, Yosef is saying, I see my brothers looking at them. You are Yosef, Tolim Einayim. The Lashon of the Midrash is not the Gemara. Tolim Einayim bibnot haaretz. Ubishloshtam, says Rashi, Yosef was punished under three types of suspicion. Al ever min achai, vayishchatu seir izim. Yes. Later, yes, when they're selling him, they are slaughtering seir izim. Yes. La'alan pasuk b'mechirato v'lo achlu chai, and they didn't eat the goat. So Yosef himself are witnessing that when his brothers are about to take his shirt and dip it in blood, they, ועל גיבה שסיפר עליהם, שקוראים לאחיהם עבדים, for the complaint that he has that they are putting down the brothers to label them עבדים, לעבד נמכר יוסף. Yes?
Right.
He himself is 12 years a slave. ועל העריות שסיפר עליהם, he's complaining about them with other women, ותישא אשת אדוניו. Now, what he was doing, Nathan, is right or wrong? He's coming to the father, Daddy, you know, I see this, I see that. You realize we are here accusing Yosef of doing it, and his punishment was that midah keneged midah. Was he right or wrong?
Well,
How do you
I
know?
don't
Why is it wrong? If you
There's
see
no-
a guy, if you see a guy eating in a non-kosher place, would you go tell his parent, you know, maybe you're unaware, but your son is 21 and I saw him last night buying a cheeseburger. Would you tell his parent? No. There's a mitzvah in the Torah.
There's a question,
Dr.
maybe
Fred
he
to
should
his
have,
parents.
should he have spoken to his brothers?
See,
And
this
told
is the
them,
point.
why are you doing this?
Why are you
It's not our way.
running? Why are you running to our father? Why don't you talk to your brothers
Yeah.
first?
maybe it was a talking relationship with them.
This, if you're not in a talking relationship, don't run to the father first. So, of course, legally, quote unquote, is right, but of course, he's wrong here. you see something by someone and you're not sure why he's doing it. And you jump right away to the conclusion. But you realize that this is part of a big picture. The end is that he has to be sold and end up in Mitzrayim. The reason why the Torah is spending so many psukim is to show us this is life. Life is, yes, this is what life. Yeah?
One could
The,
say,
the revolution in Syria had to happen, yes, for sure. It happens exactly now. Israel sees the opportunity. Iran is now more or less isolated, yes. Israel got rid of all the weapon depots in Syria. The timing is part of a very big picture. This revolution in Syria is not an overnight revolution. Why it happened now? After Israel finished in Gaza, more or less finished it, at least cleaned the place.
Yeah.
So is in the north.
Yeah.
Now, okay, this is a lesson to us. A lesson to us in a family is when you start to accuse, when you call attention to yourself, let's see what happens. Okay.
and Hashem took our brothers and sisters and cousins from Syria before all this tumult. Otherwise, what would have
Right?
happened?
Rani says that tens of thousands of
1992,
Syrian
somebody
Jews,
came there.
it came in
Imagine what would have
1992.
happened.
Yeah.
All these people, they wouldn't be here today.
And the Torah is adding, Israel, Ahav et Yosef mikol banav. See, to us, each one of us, if you're a father, you know that you have a son or a daughter that are favored by you. And of
Not
course,
true. We never admit to that, Rabbi. When my mother passed away, everybody said I was a favorite. I was a favorite. I told everybody I was a favorite.
Israel, Ahav et Yosef mikol banav, ki ben zekunim ulo. There are multiple interpretations. He is the youngest. He is the son of the woman that I really wanted to marry. He is the one that really walks with me, unlike the brothers who left me overnight when the Malach came to fight with me. Israel, Ahav et Yosef, ki ben zekunim ulo. There are multiple interpretations. ועשה לו כתורת פגים, yes?
And they also want.
It's mind-boggling, yes? And he made him a very special. Yeah.
So, Rabbi, couldn't one argue that it's such a basic thing? How could that happen? We know that could be the children are always jealous of each other. This only made the situation worse.
Pesach Ron, when he wrote his book at the beginning, he went to interview the two sons of Rabbi Feinstein. David alav shalom, and Reuven was still alive. But, you know, he knew what to ask, and he knew what. He says to them, your father is Rabbi Feinstein. How was he as a father?
Yeah.
I remember the man is 18 hours a day learning, he's on the phone, it isn't good. This is Reuven saying. They lived in the Lower East Side. Larry can relate to it. He says in the morning, he says, when is legal? When do you have to give steam in the morning, Larry?
Well, it's not the morning, it's when it's regarded temperature, but let's say 6 o'clock in the morning. What's the
Right. Says Reuven, yes, my father used to take our underwear and shirts and put it on the radiator. This way, when we get up in the morning and it's freezing in the house. Okay, this is something little. No, but this is something. But this is something tiny.
It shows you how
It
sensitive.
gives a. But the biggest for me, the biggest support in the summers. They used to go out in upstate New York. Today we have big, communities. But it says our father used to learn all day. Our excitement of the day was when the milkman used to walk with the wagon and used to give all the kids rides. He says, one day we are learning with our father. By Feinstein, you realize learning was everything. And he hears says, stop, close the Gemara, go. He says, Abba, we're learning, go. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
This is the Ketoret Pasim. The Ketoret Pasim depends how you look at it, yes? See, if Yaakov believes that his brothers are mature enough his brothers are mature enough to realize this kid is the kid of Rachel. This kid stays with me all day. This kid I'm teaching more Torah than I taught all of you.
Should be fine.
What's wrong if I'm buying him a special jacket, a special shirt?
But you see something else. when
Of
you-
course, the Gemara, but the Gemara, of course, you know, the Gemara says in Megillah Le'olam, Al yeshane adam bein avalim. Don't ever. Why? Because we are human.
Yeah.
Because we are human. Yaakov, being what he was, couldn't imagine a shirt.
It wasn't his thinking at all.
A
That's the
shirt.
difference.
It's a shirt.
So, you know, when you see when Reuven switches the beds, you see here that it's obvious that Yaakov loves Rachel, and now there's a sort of also a deep down resentment because, oh, you like the other woman more than you like my mother.
Right. This is one way of looking at it, but everyone.
They must know it. I mean, you
Like
can't-
everyone brings, for instance, when Naomi, yes, Ruth becomes pregnant, yes. At the end of Megillat Ruth, there is a blessing that everyone around said. Iten Hashem et ha'isha ba'al beitecha, and every wedding you say,
Yeah.
Ke Rachel u'Leah. Everyone admits that Rachel is a Akeret Habat. But Eli is right. Children are children. Don't you think I worked 7 years for your mother, for Rachel? And your mother, Leah, is the one that did what she did.
You can't.
Isn't it obvious that Rachel has something more than others? The answer is,
Yeah.
it's very normal.
Yeah.
The problem is again, Eli, as you said.
And the proof is Reuven. With the
Yeah,
beds.
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
proof. He
yeah.
says
And-
you love. I mean, Rashi says it
He
very
says, I
clearly.
understand till now, but now that Rachel died,
Yeah. But what does he
which
understand?
means, but again, in the eyes of the children,
Human nature.
human nature is. I mean, imagine that Yaakov Avinu apologizes to Yosef. Why didn't I bury your mother? When does he say it? At the end of his life. Why
Yeah.
did you say it right after the burial? You know, I would love to take your mother, to Bethlehem, but because he understood that you have to be very mature to accept it.
Appreciate that.
Because this is exactly part of the lessons we learn from the Pasuk, yes?
The same with estate planning, right, Rabbi? Same with estate
It's
planning.
exactly the same, Larry, we spoke about it many times. Kids logically understand that if one kid needs more than the other kid, why shouldn't he get?
Yeah.
More?
However,
You have.
however.
What do you mean? What do you mean? I know a family, the father was a survivor and the son and the daughter. And he really equally shared what he had, but since the Torah said the son has the son and the daughter, so he left $5,000 for the son. This should be the Yerusha. So
Yes. Really?
the daughter couldn't. She couldn't.
Wow.
Says, Abba, I gave you the same as David.
Just a little edge.
No, the father was stunned. He said, I gave you 50% of everything I have, except it says in the Torah, David is the only son. I have to show that. But this is the answer. This is the answer.
Wow.
My wife has a very good friend that has only one sister. The father was big in diamonds, and he gave the mother on the 25th anniversary a real nice, very nice ring. One of the sisters, my wife's friend, their husband was a dentist, very successful. He lives very comfortably. The other one, the biggest fight between the two sisters, who should get mommy? Not money. Mommy's dying. Mommy. Mommy is in the grave. Don't you think she'll be much happier if you make it? The other one, unfortunately, doesn't have children either. Fine. But
Human nature.
but it's to realize that this is life. It's not. This is what the Torah is teaching us between the lines.
To be aware of the challenges that come with this type of situation.
Now look further now. Vayiru Echav. This is a very, if you realize in all the psukim, like page 200. Vayiru Echav כי אותו אהב אביהם מכל אחיו, וישנאו אותו, מה זה וישנאו? If you're telling me that you're jealous, I understand.
Hatred is more.
What developed here the hatred? See, this is the key. You realize the jealousy we understand, even though we would expect perhaps mature guys to not to bring it up, but basically the Torah is also revealing a secret. Jealousy always brings to look negative on the other guy. Fine.
But the English says, but his father kept the matter in mind. So
Let's see it.
for what was the, I mean, obviously his father wants to be aware there was a conflict with the kids.
Yeah, but the English goes on there. I'll show you the video.
Yeah.
And the Pasuk says, "V'lo yachlu et abro shalom." But guys, this is history of every family, history of countries, history of politics. Rashi says the Torah is giving here a compliment to the brothers. Mitoch gnutam, from the negative part of the brothers, that they are unable to overcome the jealousy, למדנו שבחם, שלא דיברו אחד בפה ואחד בלב. They are unable to, okay, how will you say this and this, and you think at least they expressed it openly.
Yeah.
This is a compliment, because normally, as you act the opposite, you are building, you're harboring hatred. When it comes out, it comes out. Okay. Now Yosef, ויאמר עליהם שמעונה החלום הזה אשר חלמתי. Everyone understands that if Yosef is the favorite son, and he's very, very smart because his father was with him, what he didn't learn with others, why in the world are you telling the dream to your brothers? Don't you realize that they're not so friendly with you?
Yeah.
If you look at the big picture, yeah, this parasha more than any other parasha in Chumash shows you how when Hashem has a master plan, people make mistakes that cannot be explained. Of course, there are dozens of explains why he did it, but in reality, Yosef, they hard to talk to you. You have to tell them that you're bowing down to me, and it's obvious.
Did you tell us there's a halakha that in the Nevuah you have to express it or you have to tell it?
I know, but the Nevuah is known to Yosef after the jail. Yes? Took 12 years till he realized he's in the Nevuah.
Oh, so you're saying here it's a chalom, it's not
It's
in
a
the Nevuah.
chalom,
Okay,
it's
right. Very good.
Later he realizes that this
He has to
Halom that
fulfill
I
it.
thought
Yes, it's in the
was a
Nevuah.
message to me.
Right, okay.
The English says
But-
Yosef understood the dreams to be prophecies, and a prophet is forbidden to conceal what he must reveal to his brothers, says here.
Right.
Vilna Gaon.
So if someone comes today and he tells you, I had a dream that I'm going to be the president of Sharet Zion.
That happened last night.
I'm saying it because of that. Send him right away to a psychiatrist or tell him don't come to shul for a month. Okay? This is the problem. Every time you have a dream, you should take it seriously.
Who's president now?
Eli Cohen, he got reelected.
He said one of the real great Hasidic rabbis, באמת היה איש קדוש. Every Shabbat, in סעודה שלישית, used to Ashkenazim,
Yeah.
Torah. But before that, he used to say, Ya'amod Avi Mori, his father was dead. He's calling to the Torah his father. And the rabbi who reads the Torah says, Baruch Hashem Aruach Olam Va'ed. He said, I hear my father saying it. Was Ish Kadosh Moed. One of the other great rabbis that was afraid that people might be too influenced says, I would like him to see how his father calls his father to pick up the Torah, not to make the bracha. Which means the answer is his son had a very special father, and he believed that his father's Shema is here, Shabbat B'Mincha. But for the bystanders, many times young people used to come and laugh. If you knew him, you knew that he really You understand? This is mistake that cannot be understood. ויאמרו לו אחיו, here they talk to him, המלוך תמלוך עלינו.
Yeah.
But let's read it with the psukim before. We understand now why you are going to the Father and telling us you have fantasies and hallucinations that you are going to be the king. You are going to be the head of the family. המשול תמשול בנו. ויוסיפו עוד שנוא אותו, ויוסיפו עוד שנוא אותו. But with this, if you read it carefully, you understand what brews in their mind, yes? It bothered them very much that he's always speaking negativity about them. Now they understand why. Because he has hallucinations about being the ruler, says the Malbim. Avraham has two children, Yitzchak, Ishmael. Ishmael is out, Yitzchak is in. Yaakov has 12 children. They understand he is going to continue to be the same. But here you hear, they understand that what he did before is exactly is building up for this situation.
He's gonna shut them out, basically.
Yes, this is basically what
I'm
they.
T. Owen, see you around.
Right. And again, if the father, Yaakov, would decide that Yosef is the one, they'll accept it. But they see that he is pushing them out. He's eliminating them, yes, by telling the father, neither of them. This is dream one. You see, al chalomotav ve'al dvarav, look at the Rashi la'arichet, ve'al devarav, al dibatam ra'a shu mevi et aviyem. It says already before that they hated him.
Yeah.
Now that they hear the dream, they hate him more on the dibah because they are already connecting the dibah to them.
Putting two and two together.
But remember again, no one is trying to excuse the brothers, but everyone understands the mistake. And no one is trying to excuse yourself, but in the big picture we understand, but you realize each one here is acting based on free will. Based on free will, and everyone here makes mistakes. Because the end has to be, as we read later in the parasha, they decide to assassinate him. We are going to focus on the assassination desires. Then he has to end up in Mitzrayim. Fine. Second dream, ויחלום עוד, חלום אחר. ויספר אותו לאחיו. You made the big mistake by telling the first dream, and you see that openly they told you, what were you hallucinating? ויחלום עוד חלום אחר, ויספר אותו לאחיו. Second time you have to tell them. ויאמר, הנה חלמתי חלום עוד, הנה השמש. Before the dream was about bundles, which is the brothers in Yosef. Now is the moon, the sun, my father and my mother. ו11 כוכבים are the brothers. משתחווים לי. And ויספר אל אביו ואל אחיו. See this.
The first dream he doesn't tell to the father.
Exactly. It doesn't say that the first dream is telling the
But
father.
the father was an Indian people.
Not only that, Eli, here the way it's written, El Aviv ve'el Echav means while the brothers are there, he's telling the father. He's telling everyone together. Which means, Daddy, you hear? This is my dream.
I like Rashi's first stance that he felt that he needs by halakha to do this. It's sort of, otherwise he looks like there's a smart guy. He's not totally dense.
The way Rabbi Solomon says in his book, everyone who makes mistakes, those mistakes are part of a big plan.
I understand. Yeah.
No, but it's important to see.
You're saying it's like Yehuda and Tamar, that we can't understand why how we would go through
Try
it
to
or
put
not.
yourself in the shoes of Yosef and the second dream. Here, ויגר בו אביו.
Rabbi Prague,
Yes.
this when he says Vaygar Bo Aviv, this seems like there's a change in Yaakov's personality, because in last week's Parsha, when he Behecharish ad Boam, when Reuven does what he does nothing, and all of a sudden Yaakov becomes very much more active in rebuking his children.
This is a very good comment. You know what he says? Yaakov finds it necessary in front of the brothers to act. You can say to him privately, ויאמר, מה החלום הזה אשר חלמת? הבוא נבוא אני ואימך. Your mother is not alive.
Page 200.
הבוא נבוא אני ואימך ואחיך, ומשתחוות לך ארצה. So you realize not only Larry is taking an active role, he's trying to diffuse the impact, because they say your mother is not alive. So obviously this part of the Chalom is not correct. How are you taking it seriously? Look at the Rashi. Look at the Rashi. ויספר אל אביו ואל אחיו. Listen to what Rashi says, the חידוש in the pasuk. לאחר שסיפר אותו לאחיו. First, he tells it to his brother, חזר וסיפר לאביו בפניהם. Notice? The way I read the psukim is, they are together, and he's telling them. Rashi says first he went to his brothers, then to his brothers, and together. ויגער בו, Rashi says, לפי שהיה מטיל שנאה עליו. He says you are inviting the reaction of the brothers.
The Rashi of Habo Navo, are those two separate answers or two different?
second. והלא עמך כבר מתה. והוא, מי זה והוא? יעקב לא היה יודע שהדברים מגיעים לבלהה שגידלתו כאימו. Here Rashi is revealing us a secret. Rachel died. Yosef is very young. Who raises him? Bilhah, not Leah. So הבוא נבוא אני ואימך, this is Bilhah, who acted as your mother. ורבותינו למדו מכאן, שאין חלום בלא דברים בטלים. In every dream you have certain things that
mean something.
Semi Satan told us twice here. He's over there. That when Chacham Yosef and his brother Chacham Abraham and the family went to Israel, then the plane was hijacked. Rabbi Kaduri sent a message to Chacham Yosef, don't go in the plane. He had a dream about something. And Chacham Yosef ignored and he sent him twice. Sammy couldn't believe that this is true. So Sammy went to Chacham Yosef and said, Sammy. He says, yes, he told me. So why did you go? He said, because the Gemara says you don't pay attention to it. Yeah? This is a man that believes in the Gemara. Yeah? And of course the plane was kidnapped, yes. Chacham Yosef told me, Sammy said it, if it's going to happen again, I would
do it again.
You know why? Because Chacham Yosef believes in the Gemara be'emet. I would definitely not go.
So what does the Gemara say?
See, the Gemara says, Ein chalom belod.
How do you know which one are Batel? How did he know which one is Batel?
So this is a point. So perhaps Chacham Yosef believes my mother is the special woman. But you're right.
But the two answers of Rashi seem to be, one is answer says, okay, the mother, the mother, the one who stepped in for the mother bowed down. So the wife is right, and the other answer is like Batel. So they're two different answers. They don't.
Rashi is saying, even if you don't buy this answer that Bilhah is like your mother,
okay, so this
is not your mother, but
so that's why we don't hold that necessarily there are things betelim.
Correct.
It's
but
not.
See, you're asking a good question. How far are we going? That's a real question. This is why you have to go to Bishma. Even my father-in-law, the first cousin, Dora. She was, I forgot in which concentration camp, but this was in Germany. She has a dream in the middle of the night. Dora, go to the gate now. There are no guards on the gate. You can escape.
Yeah.
And she wakes up, I'm going to shoot me. Her mother comes again. And this is in Yiddish.
Sure.
Yeah, yet. She went,
No.
she
She
fleed,
survived.
she survived, she lived in Montreal,
Yeah, you
she had
never
a
know.
fair business. ככה זה.
How do you
כל
know?
אחד, everyone in the family. ככה היה.
How do you know?
So we,
Wow,
no, I'm
wow,
saying
wow,
to
wow.
Eli, אין חלום ולא דברים בטלים. Am I crazy?
So I always tell,
Am I crazy? I mean, you realize sometimes it comes with it that goes.
so I always felt like my father, Shalom, used to come visit Florida, my wife.
Yeah, this
Most
is
of the
definitely speaking. Yes.
He came to dinner, the year before he passed away. Told my wife, I had a dream, you're gonna have another, I had 4 boys. Said, I had a dream, you're gonna have another baby, and it's gonna be a girl. And a year to the date, almost a year to the date that he passed away, my wife gave birth to my first daughter.
That story.
I have to tell Ralph it's 4 boys.
We were visiting my mother.
I
We
have
were,
to tell Ralph he has 4 boys.
we were visiting my mother years ago on Shabbat afternoon. Older brother told my mother, I had a dream that my father came back in the dream. And I said, Mom, what do you think that means? She says, it means somebody in the room was pregnant, can have a baby boy.
My first daughter.
My wife was pregnant at the time, but she didn't want to announce. She said, stay quiet. She stayed quiet. X amount of months later, she gave birth to baby boy, my son Ralph, named after my father. And the Brit Milah was on the day of his yahrzeit. Coincidence,
You
right?
see, unbelievable. Which means, I said, everyone that talks about the meaning of dream talks in this parasha.
I was telling Eli too, I went to Chamaruch after I had the 4 boys and the girl. So first of all, I used to joke because I used to say, Acharei Harav, meaning you and Chamaruch had 4 boys. I did whatever my rabbi said. Well, my daughter's name was Mazal. You know Mazal, you're a student. So I went to Chamaruch because boys are known as Siman Tov and girls are known as Mazal Tov. See, you have Siman Tov.
Mazel tov, nice.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
No, but you see, Eli, everyone talks about it, but it's not a good topic. But whenever you bring, which means you have 3 pages in Gemara Barachot that tells you this means, this means, this means, this means. Then, of course, you have all you said the Abarbanel. The Abarbanel is trying, the Abarbanel, this is 400 years ago, wants to say if you see the dream, and the dreams are A, B, C, D, one is built under the other. It's not a result.
It's not random, yeah.
I mean, the Abarbanel is trying to take many dreams in Tanakh. Okay, but listen to Rashi. ויעקב התכוון להוציא הדבר מלב בניו. Says Rashi that the reason why he's rebuking him, because he wants the brothers not to take it so seriously. This, by the way, is the proof. Larry, can you hear us?
Yes.
No, because your picture disappeared. I thought.
No, I hear perfectly. I'm listening.
No.
Thank you.
The video of one of them.
Friday, they came to check because the guy from the video, they yelled and it became Wednesday. Anyway, see, this Rashi, Eli, why is she says,
I just have to look and see.
she says that Yaakov is trying to make the brothers not so jealous. Why didn't he say it after the first dream? This is the proof, Eli, to what you said. The first dream he didn't tell his friend.
Yeah.
See, here, see, look at the Rashi, ויעקב התכוון להוציא הדבר מלב בניו שלא יקנאו, וכך אמר לו בוא נבוא, כשם שיהיה אפשר באמך, כך השאר הוא בטל. You realize what he's telling him? Your mother is definitely not going to be there, obviously the rest of the dream. Okay? Now, Rashi told us, Eli, אין חלום בלא דברים בטלים. מה פירוש? Something in your dream is dvarim betelim. Not that everything in the dream.
No, something, yeah.
But you see, Yaakov.
Something. The question is, what is
So
batel?
Yaakov is trying to tell him it's clearly that your mother is not going to be there. So the rest of the dream, this is the way Rashi says he's saying.
Quite possible that
In order to take it away. Listen carefully now. Vayekanu bo echav. You can imagine what the brothers are thinking now. Second dream, and after this, ואביו שמר את הדבר.
Yeah,
See this?
you know.
See, the English translation is
Kept-
the father kept the matter in his mind.
Yeah,
But look at the Rashi, famous Rashi. The Rashi is based on the Targum.
yeah.
The Targum says Natar. Natar זה לשמור. Says Rashi, היה ממתין ומצפה מתי יבוא. Which means Yaakov understands that there's no way,
There's nothing.
correct.
And
There's no way that this type of a dream, remember father, mother, and 11 brothers,
yeah,
Shamar, I'm waiting to see the fulfillment of this dream. Fine. Okay. Now, if you
the reason
start,
he answers in the beginning in Pasuk Yud is because just to get rid of some of the jealousy
Tone
over
down
the
the
way.
flames.
But he's not. This
This
is
is
just
He believes it,
he
he knows.
really
believes
believes.
it, but he's just saying it just to help.
No,
it to
but
be-
you understand, he's trying to diffuse the
Yeah.
jealousy and anger, but you understand that something is big is brewing. Only if you understand that.
You know, though, I think we should spend a minute with this kin'ah, this word of kin'ah here. You know, this is so much of what goes on is that one word, vayikanu bo'achav.
Yeah. Tishma. I told you once, it's the דבר עמוק מאוד. Listen to this Khatam Sofer. You remember in Sefer Bereshit, it says, Hashem created את שני המאורות הגדולים, two big luminaries, yes? Then, את המאור הגדול, the big one, the sun, ממשלת היום, ואת המאור הקטן, ממשלת בלילה. It's an open contradiction. את שני המאורות הגדולים, then המאור הגדול. Okay, so Rashi brings us the Gemara that Yamun came to complain. I mean, אין שני מלאכים משתמשים, hear this, אין שני מלאכים משתמשים בכתר אחד, השם told them fine, do it diminishes. Says Khatam Sofer, תשמע זה עמוק מאוד. Says Khatam Sofer, Eli, based on this Gemara, that jealousy was created before people were created. Hear this?
the concept of.
Says that, which means Adam HaRishon is born into the world of jealousy is a part of life. ככה הוא אומר. זאת אומרת, part of our challenges in life is exactly that. As we mentioned before, in families, in business, children's rivalry, companies, countries.
So we kind of Hevel, the first day that man was created.
It's all about with you. If you read carefully what kind of level about life, answer is, Rani, if someone comes to you and says, I'm jealous, how would you tell them? It's all those. What can I do maybe to reduce my jealousy? I mean, again, I would say what I think, and it's easy to talk. This is a challenge of life. What would you tell the guy?
It's just interesting that kin'ah comes with Yaakov. The first time kin'ah appears between families is with Yaakov. Twice with Yaakov and nobody else.
You mean openly. I mean
The word kin'ah.
Correct. He's right. Yeah. The Maharal says that every time.
But Rabbi, we have Kinah with Cain and Abel, don't we?
No, not that word. We don't. I don't think.
The word doesn't appear. It doesn't say the word Kinah.
There was no description.
You see, Rani has many personal stories that we see clearly that Hashem is with you. Okay, if you open your eyes, or Hashem helps you to open your eyes, you see it. But what is the root of jealousy? Why him and not
Because
me?
your person feels
but
he
the
should have
question-
what he didn't get. Therefore, it shows lack of emunah. Hashem gives everybody what they need. The story of the pickle, right, Rabbi? The pickle.
The question is, why did Yosef have to tell them the dream in the first
I
place?
tried to, but Solomon has a law, I tell you at the end of the week, 6 million times. There's a,
Compelled.
But that's what created the jealousy. If you don't say nothing, then you don't create the jealousy.
The jealousy, it's what the other person doesn't have brings upon the jealousy. Rachel didn't have children, Rachel, Balea, whatever. They didn't have something, they were jealous of them.
what I'm saying, I'm not talking about myself, I'm talking about people like Yosef and the brothers. The real expectations is, I mean, I'll give you a story, I can say it over, but I get chills. One of the real hidden at the king of Yerushalayim was Rudolf Kreuzer. If you knew him, he's kadosh. Anyway, at the end of his life, he really suffered. And his good friend, Gabriel Rabinovich, which today is one of the people flock to, tells over, I have the book in the house. He says, I want to go at night. Either night. And I see that the man is suffering, and he says to me, Gamliel, this is my tefillin. And he says, when I heard him, I thought, listen, it's night and Shabbat. And I look at him, he repeats it. This is my tefillin. Says, and he explains to him, when I put tefillin, I believe that Hashem wants me to put it. I believe that those Yisurim, why Hashem wants me to have it and accept it. Rabban Gamliel says, I started to cry. He said, the man suffers. And he said, what's my tefillin? Which means the suffering that I have is, Hashem wants me. It's easy to tell the story, but he was there. Which means, challenge is part of life because all the tests that we have in the world, the bottom line is, if you believe that Hashem gives everyone what he should have, and what his mission, his life is going to, you have to be in school. You have to be in school. You need to sit. And sometimes you talk to class and you see kids. Some kids are tall and handsome, and have a vivacious personality. And some kids,
they're nerds.
This is boys. Can you imagine by girls? Yes. One is, she's the sunshine, and others are quiet, and others good looking. Can you imagine what especially in a society like today, that looks is everything, what the girls feel? When you look 10 years later, it meant nothing. She is very happy and lucky. The answer is, it's not a punishment. This is your challenge. Your challenge is take the good that you have and use it the best you can. And the other one, this is, you're born to these parents. This is some kids are geniuses in math and bio. Some kids, math for them is, but the answer is, this is what life is about. Jealousy is the strongest. It's the biggest challenge of.
Yeah, but just like Arayot, maybe you could say that the desires, if you take away the desires, like Arayot, they said there's no. So jealousy also is a tremendous motivator, and maybe in some ways
What Eli says is that all the Sfarim say it's not only on jealousy, but they say it even anger. Anger is the worst enemy.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that it's not in the so what's in Aseret they wrote lo tachmod, lo titavet. It doesn't say lo tikaneh. It's interesting.
Right. But the show is,
you know the famous story I told you, Rabbi Bromberg says, how come the Aseret Hadibra goes Anochi and it says lo yelecha? I should have lo yelecha. You shouldn't have.
Heard many times about the competing the eyes.
Look, this Eli is of course correct, but the Shmat of Eli goes like this. If the Mishnah says im ein ani li mili,
Right.
it means if you don't care for yourself, this is motivation. But what does it mean? Ukeshani la'atzmi ma'ani. What does it mean, Rani?
If I'm not for you, who am I then? If I have no, I'm concerned. If I'm unhappy about you having, then what kind of person am I?
Says Rabbi Shkop, listen what he says. By me, I'm talking about myself now. Me is me, my wife, my kids, my grandchildren.
Yeah.
If the ani is only your immediate family, you are nobody.
Yeah.
The greatness of great people is that everyone in the community is part of me. If the ani, I mean, this is really what we're talking about, which means take your dreams, take your aspirations, take your challenge, take your motivation. But we had a guest from Israel, American Israelis, Friday night. Told him he happens to have a big yeshiva in Kiryat Sefer. I used to have in my shul, Rabbi Shkop, he was a grandson of one of the biggest Rashi Yeshivot in Europe.
Yes, and why you?
Yeah, like, this is right, he came, Rabbi Shimon. He says that his grandfather told him, I think maybe he heard it from his father, that when communism began in Russia, the commander, the commissar of the KGB was not very strong with the yeshiva, even though what he did is exactly the opposite. And once he says, my grandfather says to him, I appreciate very much. Why? Says to him, the rabbi doesn't remember. He says, but 40 years ago, when I was religious, I came to be tested by you. I was very hungry and very nervous, and I didn't eat for a few days and tired. And I knock on your door trembling and sit down. And I introduce myself. He says to me, before I see, when was last time you ate? 2 days ago. Sit down, my wife, and make a meal. As my wife is preparing him, he said, you know, I missing 2 buttons in my shirt. He says, take off your shirt. So he says to the rabbi, I forgot all the Torah. 2 buttons and the meal, I'll never forget. What is the story? The story is that by him, his students were not just students to lecture and for me to show his brother. He was a brilliant, brilliant man. His brilliancy, he looked at him and look at this Jewish kid that is hungry and tired. No, but this is it. I'm just expounding on what we said. But again, putting all the mistakes together, says Rabbi Solomon, this is the secret of this story, because we're moving now into one puzzle assume that cannot be explained but mistake or yad Hashem. Vayelchu echav lirot et zonav yad Shechem. Okay, but the brothers are going. Vayomer Israel el Yosef, alo achecha roim b'Shechem. Lecha ve'eshtachacha aleim. Yaakov Avinu, are you crazy?
Sending him to the lion's den.
I mean, you're throwing him into the lion's den. And Yosef, Vayomer Hinein, Avraham Avinu B'Yakeda, Vayomer Hinein. Yosef, you're a smart man. They hate you openly, publicly. Why? Hinein? Find any excuse you want.
If they think they might kill him, he doesn't even have to go. He doesn't have to put his life in danger.
And this is a topic we might discuss later in the week. Are you obligated to fulfill mitzvah kibud av va'em if you feel that this might lead you into a dangerous situation? This is what Yosef is doing. Yosef is saying, can you imagine the same word, Hineni? Vayomer Hashem el Avraham, Hineni. Look further.
Wow.
Hineni.
Your father asks you to go get something from the store and there's a blizzard outside and it tells you, don't go on the road.
Like printed tshuvot, right? Printed tshuvot.
Yeah.
Is Yosef saying, Daddy, if you want me to do it, I'll do it.
Yeah,
I'm convinced it's going to be good. Again, but how can Yaakov even suggest it? Vayomer lo, lech na'arei et shlom achicha. Can you imagine? Ve'et shlom atzon. V'ashiveni davar. What are you doing? Don't you think that 11 mature brothers that are shepherd, v'ashiveni, and come back and tell me? And if you don't look on it in the big way.
And going to Shechem, where the Gemara says Shechem is a place.
Exactly.
Yeah, why does Shechem always play such a...
Yes.
To this day, Shechem is a curse.
Yes, the Gemara says it exactly.
What does it say, the word Genai, or what does it say?
Vayishlecheyu makom mu'ad lepuranut. Mu'ad lepuranut means a place where
there's a lot of
this
unfortunate
designated for. Yeah. Look further. Vayishlecheyu me'emek Chevron. Look carefully to the Rashba.
How could it? Chevron is high.
Chevron is on the mountain. Listen to deep to Rashi. V'alo Chevron bahar. שנאמר, ויעלו בנגב, the spies, ויבוא עד חברון ויעלו. אלא ירס, בעצה עמוקה של אותו צדיק הקבור בחברון ירס, to fulfill the promise that was promised, אברהם אבינו, who was buried in חברון. לקיים מה שנאמר לאברהם בין הבתרים, כי גר יהיה זרעך. This is the key. We'll see the Ramban elaborates on it, but the Ramban, we're looking for another Ramban also, which means something big has to happen. When something big has to happen, nations, people, leaders, heads of families, we, me and you and everyone, they make little mistakes. And you know why? Because this is part of a big picture. This is what Rashi is saying, yes? The request of Yaakov to find out what they do, and
Part of the plan.
excitement of Yosef Hineni, yes, it's puzzling. I mean,
Probably the
especially,
Yaakov emphasized was Kedavra, who knew this was the next
no,
step.
this is a good question. So
He knew
actually,
he was compelled to do this.
people would say they prophesied.
No,
In reality, Rashi is
the
saying
next
that
step is this, the next
me
step.
and you are pawns in something very big that is happening in the world. Yes. In 1948, when they took a vote in the United Nations, should the state of Israel, Russia voted yes. Stalin votes yes for what? For a Jewish state. There's nothing there. The answer is if something big has to happen.
So you're saying there's no Bechira right here?
Right.
It says just was suspended right here. But
right.
obviously Yaakov had a sense this is something that had to happen. He had to do. What the consequences were, he's saying he didn't know.
Yaakov says, you're the only one home now.
Yeah.
The brothers are there. But you see what Eli is adding the word is there's no Bechira means Hashem is pushing you now. You're acting now on my chessboard, yes?
This is what they say about Yehuda and
Yeah, talking about
Tamar.
it. Right, it's the same.
So how could Yehuda,
But
somebody go after
but the
Zonah?
difference is Eli. But Yehuda Tamar, the question is what he's doing is so to say he literally more. It's illogical.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the Chidush. It's something what? Read the Lashon Radak. Here, Jeffrey has the Radak.
כל המעשה הזה זה סביבה מאת האל נורא לילות על בני אדם כדי שידעו בסביבה זאת אבותינו למצרים כאשר נגזר בין הבתרים.
This is.
But he also says לא פחד מאחיו ואף על פי שהיו שונאים אותו כי חשב כי לא ירא אביו עליהם לא יעשו לו דבר רע. וגם אביו לא חשב זה שעלול היה לבוא נוקפת בזה לא היה שוכר.
The Radak is adding that Yosef was not afraid because he was sure that they have so much respect for the father.
Just doing it.
And Yaakov never dreamt, okay, they hate him, this, that.
Yeah, it says in the English, the last sentence says that he sent his favorite son as proof that Hashem was acting to carry out his prophecy to Abraham. So, and the Zohar says.
It's an interesting motif that keeps coming back, this idea of looking for something in a field. We have it with Shaul, we have it with David, we have it here. It's really interesting that this comes up just sort of like the water, always the water, whenever they're looking for something, it's fascinating.
Now let's see the same message that Jeffrey read from Radak, and Rashi is really telling us, and the Ramban is very big on it. Let's go in Tanakh. We read it. Remember Rosh Chodesh Kislev was on Sunday, so we read the Haftarah. You remember the Haftarah? The Haftarah of Machar Chodesh. Yes. Over Sefer Shmuel. Right, the story over there. Let's see what happens there. But listen carefully. When they hug each other,
oh well.
If the Sefer is saying, listen carefully what David is telling, what Yonatan is telling David. Look a second. It's a Sefer Shmuel. Shmuel Aleph, just a second here.
Page
Which page?
is Kufchaf Gimel.
Eli found it. Kufchav Gimel. I went too fast. Thank you, Eli. It's Perek Shmuel Aleph, Perek Gimel. So we know the story, right? David suspects that Shaul is after him. Yonatan is not sure. By the second day of Rosh Chodesh, as Shaul is very upset and he threw the spear. Okay, now, remember, Yonatan is going out to the field where David is hiding, okay? So we know it. Let's read one pasuk, okay? Listen to this. In a second. Now go now to page Bayud, go to page Kufchav Dalet. Look at pasuk Mem Aleph. This is pasuk Mem Aleph. 41. Listen to this. Hanarba, the kid collected the arrows. David came אצל הנגב. Please listen good. ויפול לאפיו ארצה וישתחו 3 פעמים. David falls down. וישקו, can you imagine, this is friends for life. וישקו איש את רעהו, they hug and kiss each other, cry. עד David הגדיל, but David realizes this is probably the last time we see each other. Listen good now. ויאמר יונתן לדוד, לך לשלום. This is the Gemara, לך לשלום. אשר נשבענו שנינו, אנחנו בשם השם, we are friends, we swore. השם יהיה ביני וביניך ובין זרעי ובין זרעך עד עולם. They have a covenant for life. If you remember later, Yonatan as a child, Mephibosheth, and David.
Oh shit.
Okay, fine. Listen to this. Then he says to him, this is the end. Let's see few psukim before a second. Remember, this is the end. Few psukim before, when they made these secret signs, look what it says to you. Go now to the previous page, okay? Please look at the pasuk. Look at pasuk Chavbet, when Yonatan, you have a pasuk Chavbet? Yonatan, listen, remember, this is a message for life. You can use it with many people in many situations. Ve'im ko omar la'elem, says Yonatan, if I tell the young man, the arrows are further, it's a sign to you, my friend David, ki shilachacha Hashem. What does it mean, ki shilachacha Hashem? Run away, because Hashem is sending you.
Yeah.
You should tell him, run away, because your life is in danger.
No, because of the
He's
plan.
telling him, don't think that you are running away to save your life. You are about to start a new mission in life. You know what he says to him? Leich kishi lechacha Hashem. Very often in life, when we have to make a drastic change, I'm doing it because of the climate. I'm doing it because business is not good. I'm doing it. Hashem is sending you for a new mission. What triggered it is the hate of my father to you. But really, Kishalachach Hashem. See, if you look at the picture that we have here between Yosef and the brothers of Yaakov, this is Kishalachach Hashem. Yosef,
He knew his mission.
Right.
He didn't know his mission. He knew he was in.
This is, I saw once, someone said, I'm so deep. He says, imagine that we are bystanders, with the brothers are grabbing Yosef. Tomorrow we'll deal with the Ramban, how they were trying to kill him. We are bystanding, and Yosef is crying. You know, you remember Reuven says later, Aval Hashemim alachnu, we didn't listen to him, which means he was crying. And me and you and Eli are standing, and our heart goes out. Goes out.
It had to happen.
To this kid. Good. 10 years later, when you see him, he's a king. What you see now is a tragedy. It is the beginning of something big, yes? Now, imagine that me and you live in Canaan in the time of the famine, And everyone struggles, and suddenly the old man, the Jew, Yaakov, white Cadillacs are coming to pick him up. Your son, every neighbor is jealous. Fast forward, he went down to exile to become slaves. You don't know where the Shilachacha Hashem in life is, yes? He is telling you, the דבר עמוק מאוד, כן? What Rashi and the Ramban and the Radak are saying us here, this is the beginning of the new mission. To us it looks, Yaakov really wants to know, he doesn't believe, Yosef doesn't believe, but something big is happening in history. Even everyone understands that since October 7th, big things are going to happen, yes? Where is it?
Who could have imagined that this led to Syria and all these things going on?
But at the same time, after
able to destroy Syria,
It's just,
they destroyed Hezbollah.
we'll kill you tomorrow with
Can
the
I
Ramban.
share a
Yes.
small impression? So I may have shared it before.
Their justification.
Back in 2008,
The world really would have killed them.
Yeah.
back in 2008, it was,
Hezbollah got
back in 2008, was,
yeah.
back in 2008, was diagnosed with 3 brain tumors. And they had to do a brain biopsy on a Thursday. I was in the hospital for 5-6 days. Very scary time. Okay, Thursday night, I'm in a neurological ICU with 100 tubes coming out of me. And it's 2:30 in the morning. My wife and my daughter and my son come in and they're crying at 2:30 in the
Crying,
morning.
imagine,
Crying.
2:30 crying.
And I'm saying to myself, it's already happened. What's there to cry about? So they said, no. Michael's wife, Marie, had a baby boy this night in this hospital. And it's their first child that's going to be named after me.
It's my
So right away I said, I remembered Yosef HaSadik. I remember when he was in the caravan and he had all the horrible smelling things, but he smelled the spices.
This was the spices.
And right away I said, Hashem, you sent me the spices. I know I am exactly where I need to be at this time.
Yep.
I felt it, and Hashem sent me the message, so I knew
It's exactly
Abudu was my place at that time.
amazing. Brit was on Friday, remember?
And then,
Brit
of course,
was
we
on
had
Friday.
Brit Milah that Friday. The doctor said I had to go to chemo the same morning. I was the Sandak. I went for spiritual refuah, and they took me by ambulance to the chemo to the physical refuah. I couldn't walk.
Now,
It's
this is
not
the
a walk.
story.
I've heard it. It's an amazing story.
Trying to repeat it, but I just
No,
saw
but
it
which
personal.
means that
You
sometimes
get a
in
sign,
difficult
you get a sign,
time,
you know.
you get like a small sign, but it gives
I
you
have a
such
dozen of
a.
them to say.
But this sign, when you felt this, so you said you'll be okay. It made you feel like
I didn't know, I
you'll be
said,
okay.
no, I didn't know
but
it would be
no, he
okay, I
gave
had no
me-
idea. I knew, in fact, when Rabbi came to see me, I said, Rabbi, Hashem prepared me 62 years for this moment. I don't know where I am. I don't know where I'm gonna be, but I know I had to be here at this time in this place. And we're here to talk about it.
No, but this is really the biggest
I
lesson.
had no idea the outcome.
It's the biggest lesson of yourself and his brother.
Our zechut that you was here.
Yeah, but
You know, they told me also, you have 50-50 chance of making it.
Really? 50.
50-50. I felt so bad. I said, 50-50, you roll the dice. I said, wait a minute, why can't it be in the good 50? Great to be in the good
You
50.
saw the glass half full,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. So I said,
Yeah.
and P.S. I found out 10 years later it was only 25%.
Really?
The doctor told me 4 years ago it was only 25%. We never told you.
Rabbi Prague, when you came over here, Bnei Sharet Zion, did you see the big picture back
Yeah,
then?
yeah.
This is what I said in the
Yeah,
video
exactly,
this
the
morning.
dreams.
Dreams. The dreams. No, but באמת, I said, we know the parasha, but as we mature, you see much more depth.
And so we get signs. The question: do we see them? Do we know we're in the right place at the time? When you see it, sometimes Hashem gives you a boost to know you're in the right place.
Right, but the Chumah is also not to hallucinate
No,
positive.
of course.
It's just to take it.
Yeah.
Things are under control. You know what I mean?
No, when you ask
Someone
me
is,
that I know it's gonna be good, no clue.
I'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye bye.
Have a great day,
The story
Rabbi
gets
Prague.
you
Yeah, bye bye. Yeah. What? Yeah.
in the concentration camp. To have it